in that regard, it is OS agnostic, and so you'll have the ability to manage all those devices. Now, when you talk about chatter, again, chatter is supported in a Windows environment as well as a Mac environment. Linux, not for certain on chatter, but the nice thing about that is that you can, aside from the desktop app, you can always use chatter through the browser, which at that point, it doesn't really matter what OS you're on.
Right.
With chatter.
But I think that's what the question was really asking is since this is a browser-based application, you can use it on anything, right? So it doesn't matter at all, right?
That's true, but again, there is a mobile device or a mobile component that is OS specific for the mobile device, and then the desktop is specific there. But from a browser, yes, any browser, it's fine.
Okay. Next
Any
question.
Okay,
say that I have 5 help desk staff. Can levels of access/authority be set? In other words, the more experienced staff have access to the more sensitive data than the less experienced.
Absolutely. You do have the ability of doing that, and the way that that's accomplished in the Remedyforce application is through the roles module within force.com. So you'd have the ability to apply roles to your staff members, and in addition to the data itself, also the capability in terms of the tabs can be determined on who the user is as well.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Next question here. It says, will there be an additional cost for customers to now use the software platform license for self-service users? So maybe you can explain a little bit how the licensing works then.
No, there's no additional cost. Again, that's the one for every one staff, 250 users, and there's no additional cost for that. But it is a platform license that those end users or customers would need in order to leverage the self-service embedded into force.com or the chatter capability.
Okay. And maybe you can talk a little bit about, I guess, just licensing in general. Since it's a SaaS-based product, you just pay for Remedyforce as you go, then. Typically it would be a 1-year or 2-year or 3-year contract, I believe. Is that kind of how it works?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. So it is a 1 or multi-year contract where you're basically, the licensing is based upon the staff members, and with that that contract gives you access to all updates to the software as well as the upgrade to the software itself. So again, just like with Winter13, once you work out your deployment schedule with BMC, they will handle the entire upgrade. And while the upgrade is happening, your environment's going to be minimally impacted, and that's typically done during off hours. But by what I mean by minimally impacted, meaning you could still use the application, you just may see a little bit of degradation in terms of performance, but nonetheless, the product is still available to everyone while the upgrade's occurring. Okay.
And then the other thing, you mentioned Scanstar, which is now available, which is an asset management barcode tracking product. Now, this, in terms of licensing for Scanstar, that will be an additional charge then for that. That's not included. RightStar will charge separately for that product.
Yeah, that is correct. So Scanstar itself is there is an additional license for the Scanstar product. That's not included with Remedyforce. But here you're seeing an example of one of the modules in terms of verification. So it's very common that customers want to do manual inventories periodically just to make sure that the assets are where they're supposed to be, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. We just did a scan of a barcode. I can see the location that it's supposed to be at, the building and room, and from here I just simply save those changes, exit. I can go to the other modules, or I can synchronize and update my Remedyforce CMDB. So in my mind, this is really a very nice utility in terms of keeping this asset information up to date in terms of who has ownership of it, when you're receiving the assets, all those types of things.
Right. Yeah. It's like AssetCore, which you talked about. That'll discover all the discoverable items, but Scanstar will track things that may not be discoverable, and it will tell you exactly where everything is, which you might not be able to get from the AssetCore product. Okay, so it's kind of a missing link then. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. I think there's one more question that just came in, and then I think we can wrap it up. Does Remedyforce integrate with other asset management software such as Maximo, ITAM by IBM?
Actually, there's not an out-of-the-box integration with Maximo or some of the other tools. However, we do have integrations. Well, there are integrations. One of the newest integrations that BMC released in Winter13 was an integration with Case to bring in data from the Case asset management system. Maximo, there is not one out of the box, but with the use of the Pentaho integration engine, there's no reason that type of integration couldn't be built. Now, one of the things I will say, when you start talking about integration outside of AssetCore, you're really limited to just populating the CMDB. Whereas when we saw during the demonstration, we saw the fact that I could actually execute, a number of processes on the machine using the CI Actions button. That is limited to the AssetCore functionality. But populating the CMDB from other discovery solutions and asset management solutions can absolutely be done. Okay. Great. Well, Ron, I don't see anything else, so I certainly wanted to thank you for the time to run through everything. Great job. And for those of you that are still on, I appreciate you hanging in there till the end here. Thank you very much for your time.